Good morning, good afternoon or good evening. This is Roger Gilbert and I'm reporting for Milling and Grain Magazine, International Aquafeed Magazine and International Pet Food. I'm standing here in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's in the USA at the IPPE Annual Expo. I'm in the company of Glycon Santos, and he is the CEO of a company called ICC. And I would like to ask Glycon a little bit about the company. Can you explain a little bit about the company, please?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be interviewed. It's an honor and a pleasure. Yeah. So ICC is a Brazilian company. We celebrated 30 years last year, and we are specialized on the production of yeast additives coming from the sugarcane ethanol fermentation.
Oh,
okay. And we can claim that our legacy was to transform, when we got started, this yeast that comes as a co-product of the ethanol fermentation was mainly just wasted. When it was dried, it was marketed as a very low value ingredient. And what our company did is that we tried to understand the product, we tried to benchmark it against the primary grown yeast, baker's yeast, or against the brewer's yeast, and we start to understand how we could improve the quality and what was the different aspects of our yeast compared to the brewer's yeast or baker's yeast.
Yeah.
Because all of them are Saccharomyces cerevisiae yeast, so it's basically the same product. And so we learned a lot, and today, like both me and my competitors and a lot of the feed producers in the world regard the yeast coming from the sugarcane ethanol fermentation as the best yeast additive in the world, because the yeast it's challenged by the ethanol fermentation. It has to grow a much thicker cell wall, which is highly concentrated in beta-glucans and monoligosaccharides.
Yeah.
So the yeast has not so much protein, but it has what the industry is looking for. It's the functional carbohydrates.
Yes. Yeah.
So beta-glucans being very important for immune modulation. We have several trials showing how these beta-glucans can help to modulate the immune system. Also, beta-glucans act mitigating the mycotoxin challenges.
Okay.
And monoligosaccharides combined with the beta-glucans, they help very much binding pathogens such as E. coli or Salmonella, and thus building a much healthier intestinal tract.
So it's more than just a nutritional product.
Definitely.
It's an actual disease control.
Yeah, it's disease control. It's disease control, and what we can say about our yeast and about any yeast is that this is not a one-play product. So either you're concerned with immune modulation, pathogen binding, mycotoxin mitigation. Yeast is a way to go.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear that yeast is not a silver bullet. Okay, yeast can be used alone, but what we understand is that the yeast, and I think that more and more that's how the market is using the yeast, the several yeast additives that are available. It's combining them with essential oils, with acidifiers. The joke that I always tell is that the problem with ICC, the problem with our product line is that we do not kill anybody. Okay, so we carry pathogens out, but we don't kill the pathogens. Okay, so if you use essential oil together, if you use some acidifier together, then you have the best of the both worlds.
Right.
Okay, because acidifiers will definitely reduce the challenge with E. coli, with Salmonella, and so it's going to be much easier for our products to work, and vice versa. If our products are working and you enter with some acidifier or phytogenic, you have a much easier job to be done for them.
So this is really all about gut health.
It's about gut health, yes. It's about gut health, and we know that the immune system, 70% of the cells are in the gut.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the immunity, we are talking about gut health as well.
Yeah. And is this widely understood outside Brazil? I mean, how is your international market development going?
Yeah, today we export to 70 countries, and so yeast is everywhere.
Yes.
I think that China has also, China, Japan, they have a strong tradition of using yeast on their feeds, and their knowledge about how the yeast can help, it's growing a lot. In Europe and United States also, you have two industries that the history of using yeast comes from several years. So yeast is but it's now more and more as it's being studied, more and more we are understanding, this aspects connected to gut health, immune modulation, mycotoxin mitigation, things like that.
And are many companies out there extracting their yeast from sugar, or is Brazil almost unique in this regard?
Brazil is almost unique in this regard. It's almost unique because also Brazil is almost unique in the production of ethanol from sugarcane.
Yeah.
Now more and more you have India, you have Colombia, you have some other countries in Central America. I think that in quite a few years we are going to see yeast coming from ethanol production in other countries. In the United States, the yeast that they produce ethanol, of course, they are the number one, produce I think twice as much as Brazil, but it's from corn.
Yeah.
But you have to grind the corn in order to do the fermentation, so the yeast will come together with the DDGs.
Yeah.
Yes. There are some companies that are extracting yeast with different processes from this stream, but still, the cell count is not there. If you compare in brackets a pure yeast from the corn ethanol in the United States, the cell count is going to be 1/3 of brewer's yeast or the sugarcane ethanol yeast or a baker's yeast. So yes, there is some being produced in the United States, but the product, can I say that it's inferior? I think it's a different product because the yeast is there, but the corn byproducts are there as well. So it's not in terms of purity. It's a Saccharomyces cerevisiae as well, but in terms of purity, it has a lower concentration.
And have you been successful in getting this message across here at IPPE?
Yes, very, very much. It was a very successful show, very busy in the first 2 days. As always, third day a little bit slower. But it was, it's a fantastic experience to be here. We are here for more than 15 years, I guess. And it's good to see that it's getting all the traction that it used to have after the pandemic. And
it's good to see you and your colleagues here, and also the contingent, as it were, from Latin America. I mean, it's good to have them back after the COVID situation.
Yes.
But thank you very much for talking to us and explaining this. Good luck with your international sales around yeast and yeast product. We understand a lot more about it now.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, thank you for the opportunity. You have a wonderful magazine. And good luck. And I'm sure we are going to meet in the VIV Thailand very soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Look forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.